I'm Rebecca.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Nessa.
This is the Family Showdown!
That was weird. Hi, everybody!
Hi.
I don't know what happened there.
What do you mean you don't know what happened?
I don't know. The intro video was like all...
It was intense.
It was intense. Hold on, let me get the chat up.
Alright, welcome to Family Showdown Live. Crazy top 10 intense games.
So, hi everybody, I'm Hunter, this is Rebecca. So, intense game. So, what's funny is I made this list. So, last time, during our last thing we did, we gave a choice of top 10s. We gave top 10 relaxing games, top 10 intense games, and top 10 some other choice that no one liked. So they picked intense games. So I thought I knew what that would meant when I wrote it down. And then I looked up the definition of intense. It's a very broad definition.
Okay.
So intense could mean many different things to many different people. So I'm curious if we have the same definition of intense.
Probably not.
Because there could be intense like it's really like brain burning, mind churning like this, or it could be like, you know, you're like frantically doing things, or it could be you're like freaked out a little bit. It'd be like really like an intense story. It could be very an immersive story. It could be many different ways to describe intense. So how do you guys describe intense?
Ooh. Alright, what did you use for it?
What do you mean?
What did you use for it?
We have to find out. It's a surprise.
That sounds like a cop-out to me.
Well, it'll spoil my list if I tell you my criteria for what I decided. But I'll definitely discuss, because my games fell into two main categories of intense.
Okay. I have a pretty wide range because I didn't
Intense. I like that. Intense.
I didn't look up the definition so much as just thought about, there's a variety of that, so I kind of just embraced the variety, I guess.
Okay.
So mine kind of covers a broad expansion of all, so it'll be interesting. So, and yes, it's all about camping.
So
I thought about that too, actually, briefly. But no, I was not a troll. That would have been funny. Tell me that would not have been funny if I picked
number
all
one
camping games.
Number two, we got, what's that game that we have? Gold West has little tents in it, and that would be funny. I don't know how many games we have that actually have tents in them though. Oh, Ink and Gold has a little tent that you put your money in.
Oh man, I would have made a way. I would have found a way to make that all work.
So, without further ado,
don't say to do.
Without further
Don't
to do, here's our top 10
that was for the
intense games, not intense games. Intense games. And I spoiled my number 10 with my shirt.
Dice Tower?
No. My number 10 is Pandemic Legacy.
Say what?
Pandemic Legacy is my number 10. That's what this is.
That's good.
Pandemic Legacy. So, this is kind of the outlier for the most part of all my games, because this isn't... this is a completely different definition of intense. This is kind of edge of your seat, seeing what's going to happen type game, right?
Very much.
I don't know if I have another one that's like that on my list, but this one more so season 2 than season 1, because season 2, I remember in season 2 for us anyway, we got down to the last half year, and we just said there is absolutely no way in a million years are we going to finish this. We're going to lose tragically. And we got things started going. Things started clicking. A lot of lucky things went our way. Some nice card draws at the right time. and we somehow won, and it was just like we were flabbergasted that we won that game because I would have like bet big money that we had no chance to win that game.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
It was almost disheartening. We almost didn't even want to play that last half year because we didn't think we had any chance at winning. So that is my number 10, Pandemic Legacy. More so season 2 because season 1 had its moments, but it wasn't like the ending of season 2 for us.
Season 2 was pretty wild, yeah. Yep. Way to spoil it for everyone. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't spoil anything.
No, you didn't. Except that it's
intense.
All right. Actually, my number 10 kind of follows along the same vein, and I haven't spoken about it in a while, so I thought it was time. Y'all needed to hear about the glory.
Oh, dear.
That is War of the Ring.
That's a good one. I didn't put it on my list. That's a really good one.
Okay, it's kind of along the same lines of what you said, because especially if you're the good guy, you're trying to figure out, okay, because the bad guy, you already start out at war with everybody. You can just go, pretty much. I mean, it's basically there, where you can just go and just start killing people, and that can be your goal. You can do it that way. And the good guys are like, wait a second. So most everyone's reluctant to fight. And I have to somehow get most of the party, most of the way along, or at least I've got to get Frodo all the way to here in the middle of this stronghold. I mean, it kind of feels like the book. You're like, is this even a thing that's possible? And then by the end, though, somehow it always comes down to these final moments where you did get Frodo all the way in to Mount Doom, and you're just waiting. You're like, and the army is closing in to kill everybody off. I mean, it is a very stressful moment because it really comes down to those last few plays, and it does feel like it's a life or death thing, and it's pretty crazy. And you usually don't have. I mean, for us now, it's not always that evenly matched. Sometimes one little slip up on one side.
Sometimes Frodo leads an attack on Moria and kills the Balrog and wins that way.
That's so weird. Sometimes people like to play with the alternate universe timeline, blow up reality. No, but I mean, there's sometimes you can go off the rails with that pretty easily, or something happens, like someone makes a key slip up at the right time, or just something gives in a weird way. But rarely is that game that lopsided, I guess I would say. It's usually pretty even. And there's just so much that you need to accomplish that, especially for the good guy side, I feel like it's really it.
Yeah, that one I thought about it, but then, like you said, some of them is just flat out turns into just a combat-y, attacky game, and there's not that same thing. But yeah, when you're going along that track to Mount Doom and you're doing those draws, and it comes down to that last draw to see whether you win or lose, that's pretty good. That's a good one. It's a good one. I think it would be a cop-out to put my favorite game, well, at least according to last year's list, my favorite game on my list. So
how is that a cop-out if it's actually intense?
Someone, who was it? Billy Young said that he's counting on our high praise of Box of Lies.
That game.
All right, my number 9.
Gotta get into it.
My number 9. This is one of the 2 major categories of games that are on my list, and that is Galaxy Truck. So for whatever reason,
that's a good pick.
You put a timer in a game, it makes me insane for whatever reason. I don't know why.
That's the timer.
If we were given, yeah. I think, so I was thinking about this as I was making my list today. I think it has something to do with my OCD with numbers. That I'm constantly checking how much time I have left. Mm-hmm. I spend so much time focusing on how much time I have left. It's hard for me to focus in on what I'm doing, and it's just like a struggle between doing what I need to do and going, I got 40 seconds left. I got 38 seconds left. I got 36 seconds left.
Well, apparently you do okay with it usually.
I do pretty good, but yeah, if you watch. Last week we did Meple Circus live. You watch, I glance over it. Watch how much I glance over at the timer when we're playing. But Galaxy Trucker is a 2-part game. One part you're doing as fast as you can, you're building a spaceship, and then the other half is kind of your spaceship gets blown up. So
my baby.
So the intense part for me anyway is the building of that ship, and you have a time limit. And not only you have a time limit on doing it, you're racing against the other players because you get a benefit if you were one of the first ones to finish. So it's like double. It's like a timer plus you're racing other people. It's like double whammy on that.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
So one of my categories of games in this, for the most part,
Spoilers.
is speed games.
Spoilers.
Speed/timer rushing to do things games. So there you go.
Yeah.
My number 9, the Galaxy Truck.
Bananas. I like it.
What's your
All
number
right,
9?
so my number 9, we've talked about, it's kind of almost like infamous in the household, and that is Pit. Because this is on the frenzied end of the intense. Your goal is to get your set of 9 cards of the same exact item, and you need to get it first. You need to do it by trading, and everyone else is trading at the same time, and you have to trade the same amount. And somehow you've got to be the one that collects everything first. So, I mean, it is just all of a sudden this frenetic, crazy, reaching, grabbing, trading, screeching, little bit of everything going on. I still someday want to try to play a silent version of this just to see how many seconds we could actually last in silent mode. Because I'm intrigued. Because it doesn't seem like it's something that you can do. Have you played
slapping
it?
people in the face to get their attention?
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like that would be like full contact Pit by the time we're done. I don't know. Have any of you tried that? Please let me know. I'm like dying of curiosity now. But it just feels like it's, I don't know. It's just something about that activity. It's not timed per se, but it's a race, and you're racing everyone else, and you're all doing the exact same thing.
And you have to get everyone engaged because the person that's in the corner not doing anything has your cards you need, so you have to yell at them to get them to give you cards to get them trading. And I think it's a game of escalating volume because I'm screaming at you, but Carl wants my attention, so he's screaming louder, and then so someone else is screaming at me to get my attention.
It really
and
does
someone's
escalate
screaming
quickly.
at you, and then the volume just goes up and up and up until everyone's yelling
there's someone
at
that's
each
hopping
other.
up and down and screaming.
Yes.
And then
Or
reaching across
body
the table.
checking people out of the way to get the cards.
You might be getting a little bit of an idea what that game's like.
Yeah,
But
good choice. Probably not on my list though.
have any of us tried full contact Pit? That would be a no. Well, no one that's going to admit it and lived to tell the tale, apparently, Dan. So.
All right, my number 8. I think this may spoil my list. I think this is my only social deduction game, and for whatever reason, this one's the most intense one for me. There's plenty of them that are intense, but for whatever reason, Resistance is just what gets me going like crazy because
that's interesting.
Because my mind goes 1,000 miles an hour analyzing every little thing that everyone did.
Yeah.
So not only do you have the trader aspect and teams aspect of the game, you have she voted for this and he voted that way, but last turn he voted this way.
Yeah.
So that means that maybe they're on teams, or maybe he's tricking. It's just churning combinations of what people are doing in your head, on top of dealing with the fact you don't know who's on your team.
Sure.
You don't know who the bad guys are. So.
Ooh, I see some interesting things here.
So that, for whatever reason, a lot of them, Spyfall's really intense, but really, if you're not the spy, it's not that intense. It's only the person that's the spy that is, cranked up to 9 or 10 or 11. Deception Murder in Hong Kong, even though it's social deduction, it's kind of more of a casual, more casual. It's like you're just kind of guessing and looking at clues and stuff. There's not the whole in-your-face social deduction.
I can get that
where
way,
Resistance, you're like, why'd you vote that way? What? There's more. It's more confrontational than a lot of social deduction games.
I can see that.
Someone, I think it was Hector or Gaming Wife, mentioned Battlestar Galactica. That one's really intense, and it sometimes has that climactic ending. But that was that's more of a slow burn for me. It's because it's such a long game. It's hard to stay at this level up here.
No, it is. It's exhausting.
For 4 hours or however long it takes to play. For me, anyway. But anyway, that's my number 8, Resistance.
Interesting. All right. My number 8. Funny, I kind of am shadowing you in a way on some of the
shadowing.
you caught that with Shadows over Camelot. The social deduction in this is funny because, and here's the reason, especially on the high count of this game, I think in particular makes it great because depending on how you play it, it's entirely possible that you don't have a traitor in it at all. But you won't know that. And so if that's the case, it's almost worse if you don't have a traitor. Because if you have a traitor, the traitor is going to be keyed up because when do you reveal yourself? You kind of get a superpower if you do, but then you're on your own, and you're revealed and this and that. I mean, it's like you against everybody. It's kind of that anyway, but I mean, it really is at that point. So there's like that. And then on the other side, if you're a good guy, which is the majority of the people playing, you're waiting. You're like, can I trust you? The whole time you're like, because you have to pick something bad to do at the beginning of your turn. So you're freaking out going, are people going to think I'm the bad guy because I picked that? So everything you do is like double guessed, like second.
Why'd you do that instead of this?
That? And then at the same time, you're like, why'd he pick that?
Right.
Can I trust him? Oh, he's helping me finish this particular thing. Is he going to throw me under the bus at the last second? Right. Are we going to be able to do it? And the whole time you're fighting, like, the game. And it's a tight game. And it's crazy if no one's the bad guy. Because the whole time, you could be doing nothing but good things. And everyone's just, the whole game, just...
Derek.
Just staring at you. Yeah, like Derek. That was funny. When we played... a Dice Tower game of this, and Derek the whole time
was doing the most shady, traitorous
stuff. It just seemed so shady, but he was a good guy. We didn't figure this out until much later after we had long killed him.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's enough to throw you off. And I mean, you can be, again, donating your life. Why do you have life points? Why aren't you like mostly dead like the rest of us? What's your motive? I mean, it's hilarious. But that whole game, you can't tell.
Yeah, that's another slow burn one for me.
It is, but it's on the knife's edge. That whole game feels that way to me. So
you get more like freaked out by social deduction games.
I do. Well, I'm not as good at them typically, so I don't know. There's something about them like, am I missing something the whole time?
Yeah.
What am I missing? What am I missing?
All right, my number 7. I have no idea what it is. Let's see what it is.
This will be exciting. It'll be like a mystery.
My number 7. Rhino Hero Super Battle. I don't know why this game. This game gives me the shakes. When I'm trying to put something on, I'm like...
Yeah, and it's...
I don't know why it does
and he's the stacker of
oh my gosh, this game just gives me like a heart attack. I don't know why it does.
Funny.
You can watch the video.
Yeah, you can see
when we did this one live. I don't remember when it was. It was about a month ago. We did it live,
and it was.
And
funny.
I just put the thing on and I just like jump back. It just freaks me out. I don't know what it is about this game. I play the regular Rhino Hero. It doesn't bother me. This one, for one reason, freaks me out for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Which is hilarious because
But the thing about it is, if I wasn't playing a game and no one was watching me, I could probably stack that thing to the ceiling and not flinch once.
Yeah.
But since we're playing a game and people watching, I don't know what it is.
I know, and it's hilarious because, I mean, I'm not joking. If we had stuck somehow and there's this crazy wait at a restaurant, Hunter's taken all the silverware and the salt packets and the sugar and he's made the Eiffel Tower or something crazy. And then we get this game that you stack and it's made for stacking, and he's like, I mean, it's really funny.
It's almost like I take a step back and look at myself and laugh because I'm so freaked out.
Yeah, you get like too meta on it or something.
I'm like freaked out, man. It's like, and even when I know there's like almost no way it's gonna fall, it still freaks me out for some reason. But it's fun. I enjoy it. It's hilarious, but it freaks me out. It doesn't freak me out in a bad way. It's
no. It's good. It's pretty awesome. No, I haven't tried Men at Work yet. Have you played Men at Work?
Mm-mm.
It looks hilarious, and I could see where you would just be freaking out in that game, though, and that's marvelous. I absolutely love that.
All right, what's your number 7?
My number 7, I don't know why It's funny. I feel like I'm kind of paralleling you in a
You
lot
are,
of ways.
you're right.
In a lot of ways. Is dimension. And especially if I'm tired, I guess because I'm used to juggling all these things mentally and then making a product, and here you're physically doing it. You're like, okay, you gotta remember all this now. You have a timer, and you've got all these different colored balls and stuff, and you're building a 3-dimensional little pyramid, and okay, the blue and green can't touch, but you can't have white on the top level, and you have to have the black ones always touching the green, but you can't have more than one orange, and you're like, timer, and you have it maybe in your head, but then as you build it, you're like, wait, that's actually touching. Oh, I gotta redo this, and then the timer's ticking, and you're like, I can't remember all these rules. It's just, I don't know why this is such a mental agony for this game, and I like it, but it's an abstract game that just, I don't know why. It just, I guess because it's like an embodiment of all the things you have to do in a day, and I just
it's that double whammy of a timer and a race at the same time. Because I think if I recall right, you get a benefit for finishing.
There is a small benefit for finishing
happens
first.
I can't remember what happens.
And you also get more points if you completely finish your pyramid. Yeah, and then the more things that, you only get credit if you get the rule completely right throughout. Yeah, I mean, the scoring's pretty tight.
Yeah.
And
that's a good one. That's a good one.
It's a good game.
That's a good one.
And it's not a particularly deep game or anything. It's just several rounds of doing that. And it's just...
All right, my number 6. Back to the stacking and timer. We played this one a week ago, and that's Meple Circus. If you watched that live play of Meple Circus, I completely freaked out. I was blaming it on the table. I think I was just freaked out.
I'm beginning to think you were too, because I was like, this is so steadying for me.
So I played Meple Circus, and I was just... What's funny, at the end, I kept my thing. You have to, on the third round, you have to do some kind of, saying or do dancing or things. And I think I said, oh my gosh, it's going to fall. And I was like, that was my mind was saying that.
No wonder you chose that, because you're like, I'm already
doing that anyway.
I
just had to vocalize it. But yeah, I tell you, man, a timer and a race. Normally in the Meple Circus, though, we played them at the same time. Normally we...
you're supposed to do it one at a time. Which...
It's not really... The earlier rounds are a race, because you get a little bit of a bonus by finishing first.
See, having someone watch me do that isn't as intense to me as when we're actually racing. Like, doing it that way.
Because you see how well the other person's doing.
Because I see how well the other person's doing, and then if my stuff falls down, I'm not going to be like, okay, I do this. I'm like, my stuff's falling down and his isn't.
Right.
It's bad. It's bad.
Oh, man.
It's bad.
All right, we move on from that one. It's more of that stacking stuff.
I've already seen my number 6 popping up in the chat, and yeah, you guessed it. It's Escape. It's, again, a timer, and this is the frenzied, you're rolling your dice, and you guys know, for a fact, you've seen me roll dice, and how mean they are to me, and how fun and easy it is.
I remember Arcadia Quest, the campaign Arcadia Quest, you got massive... awesome dice rolls.
Okay, Arcadia Quest loves me. We have decided that there is a game out there that has dice that loves me. Escape is not that game.
Yeah, we played this recently, and you got locked up several times. I had to come save you.
He had to come actually physically rescue me, because I'm like... it was bad. It was bad. I'm getting cursed and all that stuff. I mean, it's a struggle. I'm pretty sure people hate being on my team.
Yeah,
for Escape.
This game, it makes you kind of, I guess, I don't know if amazed is the right word, but amazed. How much you get done in 10 minutes.
Yeah. That's
how much crap you do in that 10-minute time. And part of the time you're running back to the beginning to save yourself. Yeah, you get a lot done.
You have to stop what you're doing.
You're doing a lot of stuff in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it doesn't help that... To further intensify the moment, you can use their music and recording, which has this crazy, like, jungle thing with lots of drums and intense keys. Everything's in a minor key. Raise the intensity, right? And there's this dude with a deep voice that's Escape, and you have this... the warning for you is this insane gong, which just, It doesn't help.
I can't believe it's this low on your list.
It's true. There's that. It's pretty fun. Dice rolling blanks in Small World. Yeah, that's kind of the same.
We haven't played Pandemic Rapid Response. We should try that sometime.
I want to. That looks really fun.
All right, my number 5. What is my number 5? Is it more stacking? Yes, it is, because it's Dimension!
No way!
Yeah.
You find that tense.
This game freaks me out. Because, like she said, Invariable, every time. Every single time, I'm like, I'm doing so great. Oh, I'm so great. I'm so great. Look at this pyramid. Wait. It's all wrong! You start throwing stuff. Your little wooden balls are rolling everywhere. And you're like,
it happens.
You start all over again. You're like, okay, I got it. No, it's wrong again. There's like 10 seconds left, so you like put 3 down and hope, and that's all you get.
Yes, that's true. There's been several times you're kind of like, well, and you just threw a bunch of balls on there hoping you'd get points, which cracked me up so bad. Your giving up is funny because for me, I'm just like, I have this half busted up pyramid. Hunter, meanwhile, is just like, well, forget this, and he just throws a bunch on there, and he's like, surely I got a point out of that. It's just amazing. It's amazing.
This game,
it's
this game without a time limit would be challenging.
No.
It would be, because...
No, that takes the pressure off for me.
But I'm saying it would be somewhat challenging without a time limit, because you got all these different rules and how they interact with each other. But throw on top of that a time limit, and there's a person across of you that has this giant pyramid, and you've got like 2 things on the board. You're like...
It's the best.
It's crazy. That game... It looks like an innocent little logic puzzle.
It does.
It is a little demon in a box.
I may take that to game day next week.
The only problem is, how many does it play? I only think it plays like
4. It's 1 to 4. Playing it by yourself is intense. I don't know how.
Yeah, that game is crazy.
It's rough.
That's a good pick.
It's rough.
Our first crossover.
It is. And I would never have guessed that would have been the crossover game, actually. That's pretty funny.
All right. What's your number 5?
Excuse me.
Oh, this made my short list. I didn't
put
it on the list, though.
All right. This one is a different kind of intensity because it goes the opposite direction. It's very lighthearted. And that's Time's Up, Title Recall. And this has the intensity of you've got to come up with something snappy and quick that makes a connection to your teammates so that you can get them to guess this. And it stretches your creative limits because, you're going to have to find a way to do that with words and sounds and then one word and then motions. I mean, it evolves as the game goes, so it's not something where you're like, okay, we got our standby clue. It doesn't work that way. Their clues need to evolve, and they need to kind of grow organically from the original clues or something that somebody else said that you'll always like have this snappy way to do it. You got to do it quickly because it's timed, and you need to do as many as possible because that's how you get your points. So you've got this. I mean, your brain is firing because you got to think the whole time. Okay. I know what movies we've seen together, so I'm pretty good. Like, okay, I'll be pretty good with that. But, I have somebody completely new on our team. I don't know what they've seen. I don't know anything. And I'm like, if it's something where I'm like, I know you haven't seen it, do I give the clue and hope that my semi-obscure clue, they get it? Or do I go with, like, trying to spell it out word for word and hope, I mean, there's just all these, like, really crazy split-second decisions you're making and trying to do it quickly. And you're completely freaking out and doing all sorts of funny gestures and things at the same time, sort of eavesdropping, watching the enemy team do theirs and say, ooh, can we snipe anything of their clues that we find, inevitably somebody does something on the other team that's hilarious or something, and you guys end up kind of adopting it as your own. There's always like the running gag clue throughout this game, which is hysterical. It's also really hard to do this if you're laughing your head off. There's an extra added challenge in level of intensity there.
What's interesting though is what I was just thinking is that this could be the way you're viewing it. Someone else could view it a completely different way, right? Like the pressure of getting up in front of someone and doing this.
That's
right?
the thing, yeah, because that level of intensity is totally different, right?
Right.
You're right, because I am more outgoing, so that part of it isn't the issue for me.
Like we played this we had a meetup 2 years ago. No, well, not this last spring, but the spring before. We had a meetup. We played this in a meetup, and we just basically said whoever wanted to do it
Yeah, okay.
to give the clues, and everyone else was guessers. And there was some people that just didn't want to do it, and understandably, there's a
like
one of the.
Do you want to get up and give a speech in front of the class?
Right. I mean, that's one
Some
of the
people
hardest
like,
things for people. That's like one of the
there's
biggest
your intensity.
fears is public speaking, and effectively what you're doing is
it's more than public speaking.
yeah,
It's
this is
being a
like
complete
beyond
fool in front of
public speaking. That's a good one. It made my short list. I didn't put it on my list because
Ooh,
I don't-
monikers. That sounds like fun.
I don't
haven't played that
get
yet.
much intensity out of this game.
That's funny. My competitive
I
likes
think
that.
it's just a laugh. So I'm going
It
old
is a
school. I'm going old school. Let's see how old our chat is. So I'm going old school with this one, circa 1965.
What?
With that's yours. It's not mine. Operation.
That's so true. I hated this game as a kid. Hated it. I had steady hands. I just stunk at it.
Operation. They still have it today. In fact, they have all kinds of tricked up versions of Operation.
Oh my god.
And they added something. I did some research because I do my research. They've added a piece in the new Operation.
Extra bones?
There's an ice cream cone in his head for the brain freeze.
That's pretty funny.
Operation. So, for those of you who don't know what this game is,
Oh my
you've been living under a
gosh.
rock, or you're a millennial, maybe. I don't know.
Wow. Nice.
Well, I mean, they may not have played this game. Anyway,
Thanks for being under a rock.
it's got a little pair of tweezers, and you're pulling little plastic pieces out of this picture of a person. And if you touch the edge of the thing, it makes it goes zzz, and the little nose lights up.
But it doesn't actually zap you. But as a child, it physically zapped you to your soul if you hit that thing. I mean, I still remember you jump like you were getting zapped. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Hated that game.
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you ever played Operation? And just didn't use it as a toy, because invariably a lot of kids, it just breaks down to just goofing around with it, because it actually has a game. It actually has rules. And
Yeah, there's some game to it. Never played it as a game, because it was always like, can you even do it?
Cavity Sam is the name of the guy.
There's just something not right with that.
So it's got different. It's got the little plastic pieces are all kind of play on words. So like the writer's cramp or whatever has a little pencil, and then the water on the knee.
Oh my gosh, that stupid pencil!
Is a little bucket. And
oh man,
the funny bone is like a little dog bone looking thing.
Oh, that game, man.
The wishbone.
Yes.
Wishbone.
Oh, I bet I know what one of your other games is then. Now that you said that. I'm making a little.
So Operation.
I'm gonna see if it's on here.
I almost want to buy it for my kids just to get that joy of seeing them jump and freak out.
Oh, Nessa would have a coronary.
Yeah, Nessa would not play this. She would. First time that thing went off, she was like, "I'm done."
Or she'd do what I always wanted to do and be like, "Yeah," and just like fling it into the
I
canal.
loved that game. I played with it so much when I was a kid.
I am gonna need therapy after this game.
There you go, Operation.
Oh, game.
If you notice on the game box, it says a skill game.
They don't say fun game. They say skill game. There's
Skill
a
game.
reason. Ugh.
All right, what's your number 4?
Yes, David,
Even though I kind of saw it.
Basically what I would do is shake the thing out. All right, my number 4.
Oops.
All right. I haven't talked about this one in a while.
This was on my short list.
But
I just haven't played it very much.
It goes over really well with a lot of people in our board game group, too. I haven't brought it out in a while. We have to do that soon. And that is Fuse. This game is another one with a timer, and I think the timer and the teamwork is what just is brutal with this game, because you are, I mean, the theme is enough of an intensity driver here, because you're a bomb diffuser in this game, okay? And the cards have special combinations of dice, and that's basically, are you cutting the red wire or pulling on the green wire and all this kind of stuff, right? So, but you're rolling the dice. The problem is you're taking turns being it, and you roll a certain number of dice, which you have to grab all at once. So if you screw that up, you have to redo it. Remember, you're on the clock the whole time this is going on. You roll this, and then everyone takes 1 or 2 dice, depending on players, and all this other different stuff. But then there's the teamwork factor, because you each have your own bombs you're trying to defuse. And if you get the wrong kind of dice, then it sets you back. So you're hoping that your teammates will share with you the correct dice, or you roll the dice you need. There's all these things that could just set you back, and it is just, that is intense all the way through, because if you have people that are just really slow, like, get the bag and roll the dice. Get the bag and roll the dice. I mean, you're sitting there like screaming at them about stupid things.
What was that again?
Get the bag and roll the dice. I mean, I have been known to screech that at people. And then there's people that AP and can't make the decision of how to share the dice out. And you're like, at this point, you're like, just grab anything, even if it sets you back, because you got to get moving forward. You have this time limit. The time limit's rough. I mean, it's just... Ooh, and if you use the app with your timer, the whole time it's making this crazy intense like bomb ticking noise, and there's a sarcastic computer telling you, well, I'm glad I'm standing this far back, or don't quit your day job, you're blowing up the planet. I mean, like saying these really snarky comments at you the whole time, and it's just ridiculous. And that game, oh man, 10 minutes of insanity. I feel like by the time I'm done, I feel like I just defused a bomb.
That's the
This
point,
is
right?
insane. Yeah, I mean,
That's
theme for that game.
I just haven't. I've only played it once or twice. I haven't played it that much, so.
Man,
But it was on my list. It was on my short list.
it's exhausting. It's
So
exhausting
I'll go
playing
over all
that game.
my honorable mentions at the end.
Such an exhausting game.
All right, my number 3 has been mentioned. It is the greatness that is Pit.
That's true.
Pit. This game is awesome. This game is intense. We make babies cry when we play this game.
We make adults cry when we play this game. We have scared people off playing this game. If you try to play this game... Now, again, the silent version may be a whole nother ball game.
I don't know if I'd like the silent version. I think
Well,
it'd
I
make
think
me.
so.
I think it'd make me angry.
I wonder how many people get punched in the face.
I would get so angry.
You would. I could see you hopping up and down, throwing cards in the face. I mean, it would be kind of almost funny just for that part. But...
So everything she said, plus screaming, yelling, crying.
You can't be a wallflower.
When we're done playing Pit, our kitchen table, which we play around for Pit,
Always gets moved about 10 feet.
it's like 3 feet
and crooked.
off center to the in the middle of the room by the time we're done, for people leaning and pushing against the table and trying to reach the person across the table.
This is one of those games too. Like, it's funny to watch. Like, I don't know if have you played it with my parents?
Mm-mm.
I don't think, if we have, we've only done it once.
I don't think I have.
This is one of the few games. My mom likes to really get into games. This is hilarious. My mother will dive over a table and this is one where I think she would become full physical contact Pit if you let her. She gets insane in this game. Like the competition.
Really? I'd have to see that.
Oh, it's stinking hilarious. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
All right, let's move on.
Someday we'll blow out the speakers and do a live Pit. I'm sure it's going to happen someday. You guys keep asking for that.
Did we not do the Pit the year we recorded the tournament?
If we did, it wasn't the full shebang. I don't think we did.
All right, what's your number 3?
It was tame, if so.
You and your box sizes, man.
Sorry.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 was The Captain is Dead. This is another one of those... Oh my gosh, this game. It's not on a timer, but it feels like it is. Because this is... I think part of it too is I really get into the theme, which is really fun. And the theme, of course, is the captain of the starship has croaked, and the rest of the crew are trying to do this, right? It really is timed, just not in the same sense of physical ticking of a clock, right? Things are happening, and as things get worse and the ship gets beyond repair, that's your timer. But everybody's just scrambling to do stuff, and meanwhile, the inside of the ship's blasting and falling apart. You're being attacked from outside. Aliens are beaming in, and I mean, it's just overwhelmingly crazy. It's cool because everyone's got their own powers, and it's very, very thematic. I get a Star Trek vibe from it, but this game. Yeah, I just feel like every time we play it, I can hear the klaxon in the background. Whoop, whoop, red alerts going off. Everything's blowing up. Showers of sparks from the computer screens. And you're crawling through. She cannot take any more, Captain. It's nuts. And you're just sitting there yeah, whatever. This game is killer. It's brutal. It's a brutal game. Exactly.
What's the
Kabuki.
saying? If you don't have anything nice to say, it's better to say nothing at all.
Oh, man. Hashtag Hunter doesn't like fun. Thank you, Kabuki.
Nothing.
What's up?
I will say nothing at all.
Thank you.
My number 2
Thumper's mom.
should have been Rebecca's number 1, and that is Escape. Anyone who's played Escape knows this game is just like an anxiety attack waiting to happen,
We won't
man.
let the girls play this because we think they'll
when
just
you
sit
when
there
you prevent your children from playing or watching you play a board game, you know something's up. In this game,
true.
oh my gosh, and the soundtrack, we cranked the soundtrack up to like 11. It is just that game.
It's pretty bad.
And it's just like you're breaking all kinds of rules because you don't know what you're doing because you're going so fast. I mean, it's just,
Oh, really? Speak for yourself. Interesting. Some things are just revealed to about
this
people's
game.
true
This
character
game. Oh.
under pressure.
You know, I think if it had just like a sand timer, it would be a completely different level. But
Yeah.
that soundtrack, oh my gosh, the soundtrack. Woo! It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk too much about it, but anyway, it's 10 minutes of rolling dice and having fun.
Oh my gosh.
What's your number 1? Hold on.
Don't cheat.
Oh, no, you still got your 2 left. All right.
My number 2, I kind of put it as a twofer for people because a lot of people feel like they're the same game, but that's Sonar / Captain Sonar.
I like that you put the Captain Sonar as a name and Sonar
I
as
try
the
to mix
picture.
it up.
As the
I try to mix it up.
Captain Sonar 10 times more intense than Sonar. 100 times more intense.
You know
than
what's
Sonar.
funny is you say that, but I found a couple times we played Sonar and we did turn-based and not live time. That was, some reason for me, like crazy intense. Because it was like Battleship on crack. I mean, that's kind of what this game is anyway. But the live is hilarious for Captain Sonar. You do the live time and people are shouting things and you're trying to listen and you're trying to feed information to your captain and captain's trying to like filter all of this and like keep moving and trying to figure out when to fire and this and that. I mean, there's all this stuff going on. Sonar does that, but Sonar was so much quieter and a turn-based and it's less players. I don't know what it was for me. I felt like that was really just intense because there was just like this, where are they? It's a race, but it's that quiet Hunt for Red October kind of, vibe that you got going on where you're sneaking around trying to like get close enough to beat them up before they blow up your submarine. And I love this game and it gets so crazy. Again, not technically timed per se, but you're racing against other people and you are relying on your teammates. So yes, exactly, Kabuki. He's doing the crazy Ivan. I just love it.
So Sonar.
Red October quotes always come out.
Sonar is 1-on-1. You can play 2-on-2,
which is good. I like it that way.
2-on-2 is fine. But
I love it.
Basically, you have one person's kind of controlling what special abilities they're using and such, and the other person's the navigator who's tracking where the other player is and trying to figure it out. But if you play turn-based, one person can do both those things. If you play kind of more real-time-ish, I don't even know. Is there even a real-time mode in Sonar? I don't even know if there is.
I think there is, but we always play it turn-based.
Yeah, so it's really 1-on-1, but it works 2-on-2 as well. It's in a way it's even a little better on 2-on-2 because then you can kind of focus. Each person can focus in on the two because there's kind of 2 stations that you have to do, and you can focus in on what you're doing. So, but Captain Sonar for me is so much more intense. But that one didn't make my list because
it's not intense.
I have
PTSD.
Yes. I have
Bonacore.
I have what is it? What do they call it when they Tom did, he had a set team of all pros.
Oh, it was all stars
versus a bunch of noobs and just annihilated us.
That was only because somebody on our team, Bonacore, wasn't following the rules right. Yeah,
my number 1 was mentioned in chat.
Never gonna live that down.
My number 1 was mentioned in chat, and anyone over the age of about 30 knows the horrors of this game.
It is. I called it.
That is Perfection. Anyone who's played Perfection twitches a little bit when they hear that when an egg timer going. Back of their mind, in their subconscious, They twitch from that ticking from the egg timer gives them the little tick in their eye or something. Perfection. This game. If you don't know what perfection is, this is a game where you have this little platform that you push down and locks into place. And then there's a timer that sounds like a little egg timer. Ticking this. It's like pounding into your head. And then you got all these shapes that you're trying to put into the thing. Square peg, round hole, that kind of thing. You're putting all these little shapes in. And when the time runs out, that platform pops up. Pieces fly everywhere, and you have a heart attack.
So true. Okay, we didn't have perfection. I don't know if
There's superfection. There's a superfection, which is like perfection, but it's two pieces. You take one piece, you put it inside another piece, and then that piece goes into the thing.
We had
You make little square-looking things that you're putting into the board. I had both of them when I was a kid.
I don't think was superfection. It was like some weird,
knockoff
stepchild knockoff brand, but it was two pieces. And all the puzzle pieces were different. You weren't putting them inside, but they were like puzzle piece shape, weird. And you had to find them, and they didn't have matching color or anything else.
No,
you had to interlock them.
That's superfection.
Was it?
Yes. You take two pieces, you put them together, then you put those into the platform.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
Game. Okay, so our platform, when you pushed it down, partway through would start to pop a little bit as it adjusted. So you get a third through, and you're going crazy, and you hear this crack, and you're like, is it time? Oh, it was just a little adjusting. It pop and do that 3 times before it finally would just... And the piece of the squares, perfection had these cute little tiny yellow... These squares were probably
Yeah,
you had so big.
It's superfection
They were
is
big.
what you had.
Oh my gosh, that game.
But when I was a kid, I played this game almost obsessively when I was a kid. I got so good at this perfection game, I would actually have to... I spread the pieces 5 feet away. And I'd have to reach and grab them. It was just... I played this game so much. It's got a small piece of my heart. But
that's because it
even
exploded.
So, I hear an egg timer. A little part of me twinges,
check his blood pressure.
Twinges a little bit. This game, I love this game.
That game was horrible. That's pretty fun.
I don't know if this counts as a board game, but it's as much of a dexterity game as Rhino Hero or
Meple
something.
Circus. Right? I put it in there.
But anyway, it's
that's
game.
Hilarious.
This game. This is when I looked up the definition of intense and it said. There was one definition said something about anxiety. I'm like, perfection, done. Perfection is perfection.
Oh no!
For this list,
that's funny.
I have no idea what your number one is.
No, you won't. I'll just tell you right now, my number one surprised me quite a bit.
I have no idea.
Troll hides pieces in various rooms of the house.
That would be good.
That's awesome.
I was really good at perfection. Superfection I never got really good at. It's perfection I was really good at. All right, what do you got?
My number one is new to me, and I think it's only I
thought this.
And that's Detective.
This made my short list.
Detective blew me away. This is a different kind of intensity. You're on a clock. But say your case that you have, it needs to have some kind of resolution in, say, 5 days. You've got 5 days to do this. And everything you do or the places you go take up time to do. So if you want to go to the police headquarters and you were previously at the lab, well, you have an hour travel time. And then you've got to go and say you're running a test. Well, that test may take 2 hours of your time. So it takes you 3 hours to do something. Okay? Well, if there's something that, is more in-depth, it might take up half of your day. And so you got to think the whole time, is that worth my time? Am I following a lead that's actually going to, produce fruit for us that's relevant? Meanwhile, this feels so real. You get a case, and you are instantly bombarded and just, here is information and background on so-and-so. Is this information relevant? You have no idea. So you are just a sponge at this point, trying to absorb everything you can about this case. You want to become an expert in this. I mean, I'm curious if there are like detectives out there that would want to play this for fun. Seriously, because I'm like, is this going to feel too much like your job? I mean, it feels really immersive. It's insanely immersive. And so you're absorbing all this stuff, and then you might hear like, and it's interesting too, because when you interview people, you do get a read on them when you interrogate them. Like you get a stress level reading. So they might tell you something and it'll say medium stress level. And then they say something else, but it says low stress level. And you're like, whoa, why did they just chill out? You know, were they lying about that earlier part? I mean, it's mind-blowing, some of this information. And meanwhile, you know, this will practice the old college, are you good at taking notes, high speed, you know, kind of thing. And it's like, will you take the right notes, the relevant notes? Are you able to go back and filter through this information? It was really amazing. I could see where it could be too much for people, because again, it's several hours long, these cases, going through and playing them.
About 4 hours.
Yeah, and it's yeah, I see people making the Columbo. We made some Columbo jokes while we were playing this too. It is just mind blowing, because sometimes you'll start to interview somebody and they say, well, do you want to like basically spend another hour and interrogate them further? You could get some groundbreaking information from them, or you may have already bled them dry and they're now just going to say like, you know, hey, how's the weather out there? You know, I mean, you have no idea. So some of the stuff you have to go off of your hunches, you know, and your instincts. And this was like the craziest. I don't think I've ever played a game that felt so immersive and intense in a different way like that. Because again, it wasn't that you hear the egg timer, but at the same time, in the back of your mind, you hear the egg timer because you're like, I have a day and a half left. And I may have an idea, and I may think I know who did it, but I don't have any way to prove it yet. So you have to go about, okay, which way am I going to go to try to find evidence of this? It is really crazy. And what's really neat, and I really love what they did with the game, they also have some, you need a whiteboard, I swear. Next time, we're getting out the yarn and the thumbtacks and the board. We're going to be making the connections with, But it's neat, too, because they also put some links in there. If you want to take it, it won't change your information about the case. But if you have no idea what they're referencing, they use real-life historical events and different things to reference.
And locations and things.
And locations. So they're like, okay, if you don't know about the Swiss Alps, but somehow it's involved in your case, they'll put a little link in there so you can go to an article that actually tells you like the background and information about it. It's not going to change like how the case is if you don't go look that up, but it gives you kind of that grounding so you know where you're coming from. Is that going to be something that might come back into play that you need to know better? It's just really, oh, wow. I cannot wait to do the other cases for this. This is just fascinating. I think they did an amazing job. I can see why people were saying game of the year, you know, this and that and all of this, because, wow. That's all I can say. I mean, it was intense. I don't want to say any more about it without ruining specific things about the case that we did in particular.
So what you need to do is play detective. Yeah. And in the middle, take a break and play perfection to get your anxiety and your intensity up, and then go back to the game again. You know, like when you do some cardio when you're going to work out? That's what perfection is for this. You just put that in the middle.
So your heart's already, okay.
Well, there you have it, folks. That is our top 10
It's good.
Intense games. That's pretty intense.
Battlestar Galactica was my number 11. Because inevitably, like you said, it's kind of a slow burn. But it gets crazy when the spaceships from outside start attacking and things happen and people throw you in jail. I'm still bitter. People throw you in jail because they suspect you and you're the only one that can actually repair things.
You ended up being a bad guy at the end.
Not that game.
No.
Not that game.
Was I the bad guy?
Yes.
Oh.
Actually, no. I'm not sure now. I don't remember. No, I don't think you were. And that made it even worse because you're like, you lie. I could tell by your face. And I'm like...
So here's my short list. We got Spyfall, Battlestar Galactica, Way Kick, The Adventures, The Temple of Chuck, Poker,
ooh.
Fuse, XCOM, the board game, Sidereal Confluence, Class, Time's Up, Total Recall, Antiquity. That game.
Crazy Eights.
Arcadia Quest. That's my short list.
I also had Secret Hitler.
I could have put almost any social deduction game on this list.
Some social deduction games, like you were saying that. All I can think is Revolution, but that card game, Resistance. Thank you. That one's not intense to me because
it is that game, man.
I don't know.
My mind goes 1,000 miles an hour when I'm playing that game.
But for me, Secret Hitler, because you have to maintain for so long and you can't screw up anything and you're revealed. Like Spyfall, the rounds are short. It's crazy intense, don't get me wrong, especially if you're the spy. But Secret Hitler, oh man, that's tight, because if you're a good guy in that game, you are just trying your hardest to figure out who everyone is as fast as possible, because you cannot let them get control, because once they do, it's just like snowball effect, you know? And if you are the Hitler, you've got to stay cool the whole time and let other people work towards getting you. That game. I don't know why. It's just, it's rough. It's rough. So I had that at my 12 because that one's, that's hard. But like you said, especially for a lot of people, those kinds of games just really are intense in general. The hiding the information and trying not to reveal it's tough.
Yeah.
So,
yep. There you go, folks. That is our top 10.
Yeah.
So tell us what your intense games are.
You guys have put some good ones on
there. Chat got most of ours right. Just some housekeeping. Next Tuesday night, will be our last resolution update.
Oh my gosh.
Our resolution to play our entire collection of board games. Then the following week, I don't know what night that is. The second.
Where does the time go?
The 1st of October.
Oh my gosh.
We will be doing the Great Culling. We'll go through every game in our collection we did not play in the last year, and we're going to vote on whether we keep it or not. So we decided, the chat and us decided, that we're going to have cards. We're going to have cull and not cull. If we both raise cull, it's out. If we both raise not cull, it's in. If we do one of each, the person that wants to cull... No, wait. Better yet. The person who doesn't want to cull has to justify why we need to keep it.
What?
Yeah.
That is garbage.
I like that.
That's like guilty until proven innocent.
That is right.
Nonsense.
The game is guilty until proven innocent.
Oh, that is so much garbage. It's already been purchased. That means it was innocent.
No.
Oh,
it could have been free shipping.
Okay. Okay, if it's a cheap game.
So join us the next 2 weeks for that. Estimated, we're going to do about 80 games. 80 games.
This is going to have to go fast.
We're going to have to talk about 80 games. Now, some of them are going to be quick. If they vote the same, boom, we're done. It's the ones that we get the opposite vote. It's the ones that we're going to talk about. And I think there's probably going to be 30-ish of those, my guess.
And here's the rough part, okay? None of the games suck. Because if they made it into our collection, unless it was just a free random game, we did research.
None of the games we have are suck.
So it makes it sound like the games are called terrible, and they're not.
You need to hug it. You need to hug it and feel emotion from it.
Oh my gosh! Oh, you did not.
I don't know what that.
If you love it, let it go. I can't wait for all
right,
that
folks.
stuff
That is the next 2 weeks. Resolution update next week. Week after, the Great Culling. The week after that. Could it be the start of my top 100 of all time?
Is it already that time?
It'll be October.
Holy cow.
So, there you go, folks. It'll be the live introduction to my top 100 games of all time. October 9th. 8th.
Rough.
October 8th.
Crazy. Oh, one quick question before we go. How many games are currently in our collection?
So here's the thing. When we made our list, we made our list of games in our collection. We took out all the mass market games. We took out all the kids' games. We're left only with, I don't know what to say, hobby board games, I guess would be the way to call it, what people call them, hobby board games.
Nerds.
300, what is it at? What was our last count? We've got 2 games since then. So we're
And
at
here's the problem.
374. 374.
Yeah, because with the expansions and because if you count all the kids games and everything,
We
else,
have a
it's probably-
ton of kids games. We have a ton of mass market E type games, and we have a ton of like we have 30 versions of Flux. I swear. None of those are on
Not
the list.
wrong.
Actually, we put Marvel Flux on the list. I think.
Oh yeah, we did.
We put Marvel.
We did
Flux.
put Marvel Flux on the list.
Boutique games. I like that. Boutique games. So 374 games. And then we have a coal pile around the corner of probably 30 games.
So your math is... Okay, we'll just say it's around 450. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, we can look real quick.
No, it's time to go. I
What?
just wanted... They asked a question. We can add it to the next week thing. Oh, no. What is he doing? Why did you ask that? No, he's going on to BGG. He's pulling up his list. See, he keeps his up to date. I don't, so mine probably says we have 800 games, which is not true. I just never got rid of the ones we called.
It says we have 575 games.
Yowza.
Yeah, we have a ton of kids games that probably are going to be on the outsies really soon. So
Yeah, they're
we probably have
outgrowing a
100
bunch.
kids games.
So sad.
And then you have a bazillion educational games
I do have a bunch
that are counted as well.
True.
We have a ton of mass market games. We have 10 versions of Trivial Pursuit and junk like that. So 374 real games.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, neutral without expansions counting and stuff.
Yeah. So there you go.
There we go, guys.
Flux Coal, I like that. Yeah, I would call it, but those are mostly Caitlin. So, all right, folks. Next week, last resolution update. Tune in because we're going to be talking about Tapestry. We played it twice. Spoilers, we loved it. Spoiler of the spoilers, we played a rule wrong.
What?
Yeah, we played a rule wrong.
Dude, you can't just drop a bomb like that right at the end.
Because when we were playing,
dude. So now you're gonna tell us instead of waiting until next week?
well, yeah, because someone else might play this rule wrong. When we played, we had struggled with technology. Did you notice we struggled with the technologies, upgrading them?
Speak for yourself, sucker.
No,
I'm just kidding.
We
No, it's-
struggled with upgrading the technologies.
Yeah.
We made it way too hard on ourselves
There's a shock.
to upgrade the technologies.
Okay.
So, but we'll talk about it more next time. So get us out of here.
Bye. I have nothing left.
Oh, and also...
No, he doesn't. Huh?
No.
What was that?
Because we're going to... Last time we did this, when we did our top 100s, we kept doing our Tuesday show. And the top 100 were separate.
You kill me, Smalls.
So...
Organize your thoughts out loud some other place.
I don't
Bye, guys. Take care. Have a good night.
See you soon.
Bye. Love, love.
Play a game of perfection.